Axie Infinity is very hot today, and you have a lot of people playing it. Wouldn't you like to play too, and make some money as well? The problem is that you don't have several $100s to make an account and get your starter Axies. Don't worry, because there are scholarship programs for that. To summarize, a scholarship program is where someone will provide you with an account and Axies to use. All you have to do now is play the game and farm the resources to make money. The person providing the scholarship will give you your cut of the whole thing. The percentage is usually 60 to you and 40 to the provider. That sounds like a sweet deal considering that you didn't put any money into it. The question now is, where can you apply and how can you apply for a scholarship? Don't worry, because the Game Mag has you covered with our 10 tips to apply for an Axie Scholarship Program. Number 1. How to get started. In order for you to become a scholar, you need to find a manager. Basically, managers are players that have a lot of Axies to spare. Considering that they can't use all of their Axies right away, this is where they find people and make scholars. These players have the choice to give the scholars a roster of playable Axies. Most of the time, the scholars get not so good Axies, but they didn't pay anything to get them, so that's a steal either way. The scholars will be given a weekly quota, like they need to farm 100 or 150 SLP per week. The SLP is what converts into money, and depending on how good a player the scholar is, the more money they can earn. Depending on your agreement, you can be paid at specific times. Number 2. How to find reliable managers. Now that you know how the process works, you gotta find a manager now to fund you. Managers can be found all over the internet, but the issue here is if you can be a scholar. Don't worry, because we'll give you some information on how you can find managers. What is important is that you should find those that are reliable ones. There are managers out there that can be a bit scummy, for a lack of a better term. You'll end up not getting paid and wasting your time. Don't worry, because we have you covered on that part. Number 3. Ask a friend or relative. The first people you can go to would be friends and relatives. If you know someone who is playing Axie, you may want to ask them if they're capable of making you a scholar. If that person is just getting started, then that may be hard. Why wouldn't your friend or relative make you a scholar when they have the resources to do so? It's a win for both parties since you both trust each other. You just have to do your part and be a good player when it comes to the game. There are a lot of players out there that are doing this. You got players that make their younger siblings or cousins as scholars. It wouldn't hurt to ask anyone you know, and it's convenient for both parties if things end up working for everyone. Number 4. Go to social media, Reddit, and Discord. If you don't have any relatives or friends that are playing Axie, then the next thing to do is to go online, as we already stated in number 2. Managers and guilds can be seen on social media as well as forum sites like Reddit and even Discord. It goes back to the fact where you have to make sure that the managers are reliable and truthful. That wouldn't be too hard since you can read comments and feedback from existing scholars or those that have had a bad experience. Then again, you have to verify all of your sources to make sure that you get the right information. There should be a couple of them on social media sites like Facebook and Twitter. Going on Reddit is also a good idea because that site has a ton of information that you can dig through. You'll be able to find some managers and more. The internet is your best tool to find these managers if you can't find one locally. Number 5. Find one in your area or country. While it is possible to apply to any manager online, it is a bigger boon for you if you find one living in the same country as you are. That's because the chances of you getting to be a scholar when you apply to a manager that is far from you would be very low. That's just how it is. Managers have to take their time and make good decisions. They wouldn't just find or hire anyone living thousands of miles away from them. What if potential problems arise and legal actions are needed? It would be hard to find each other, and that's just a risk that some managers aren't willing to take. The good thing is that Axie is so big, you can literally find potential managers in your area. You might even find one living in the same city as you are. That's always a better option because you can communicate and meet up easily anytime and anywhere. Number 6. Be careful with streamer promotions. You should know what a streamer is and that they are those that broadcast themselves online. They play video games, and some of them play Axie. Then there are those that are streamers that will stream anything. The point here is that some Axie streamers or any streamer will promote something like giving away Axie scholarships. We're not saying that all of them are bad, but some streamers are trying to milk this Axie craze for views. There are those that are promising people that they will give out scholarships as long as viewers stay tuned to the stream. They get you when they say something like they'll be giving out scholarships at any point in the stream. It's a clever strategy since people will end up watching hours of streams in hopes of getting a scholarship. Just be careful with these streamers because you may get nothing. Just to be clear, we're not saying this happens all the time because there are legitimate streamers that give out scholarships. Avoid the bad ones if you are able to find out which is which. Number 7. How to actually apply. Now that you have an idea where to find managers, how to find the reliable ones, and more, it is time to apply. Applying is very easy, and it is pretty much like applying to a job. Let's say you found a group of people that are legit and offering Axie scholarships. We'll call them Team Axie 2021. I don't know why I did that. So all you have to do is to go to their site, which could also be just an online forum or social media group page. They have application forms where you have to answer a series of questions. It's like any other job application, and once you fill the requirements, you submit your request. They may also have some requirements like already having a blockchain wallet, following and liking their social media pages, etc., etc. The grueling part now is the wait, since you can't do anything until they approve your application. There are also those that have a short list of applicants. You may not be a scholar now, but you may be in the next few weeks. If Team Axie 2021, sorry, I'll stop doing that.
Okay.
If Team Axie 2021 gives you the okay, then you're a scholar. If not, then apply somewhere else. Number 8. Your responsibilities as a scholar. Let's assume that you are now a scholar. Your application was approved, and you're all ready to play. First of all, your team is limited to what your manager gives you. There are limitations and responsibilities when it comes to being a scholar. The first thing is that you should meet your weekly quota. That all depends on the agreement between you and your manager. You may need to farm 100 SLP or more than 150 a week. You have to be responsible enough to do that because your manager may end your scholarship if you're not performing up to par. Even if you're not intentionally doing it, if you're not that good, you can lose that scholarship. One thing you have to know is that you don't have access to the scholar account's funds. That account that you are using as a scholar is under the control of the manager. This means you can't withdraw or use any of the SLP that is stored there. Just try to be a good scholar and not be irresponsible so that you can continue to play and earn some money. Communication with your manager is always important. If you feel that you're having trouble or wanting to quit, then talk to your manager to sort things out. Number 9. Never use multiple Axie accounts. You know, when we think about it, this should be number 1, but it applies to all Axie players, regardless if they are scholars or not. Whatever you do, do not log in 2 Axie accounts on a single device. This is very important because you will get banned in the process. That's why players that have multiple Axies will find scholars because they cannot have multiple accounts. Instead of having those Axies rot in the inventory, the scholarship program rewards everyone involved. If you're a scholar, do not open an Axie account for yourself. You cannot be a scholar and a regular player at the same time. It's even hard to be a regular player to have 2 accounts at the same time. The system will detect if a second account has been logged into the same device. They did this so that players won't abuse it. Imagine those that have a lot of money who can afford to have multiple accounts. They'll be making bank, which is why you shouldn't do this. When you're a scholar, you can get your account banned, and that won't be good for the manager as well. Number 10. When you want to stop being a scholar. There may come a time where you get tired of playing Axie or being a scholar. That's only natural because people get bored or they get opportunities that prevent them from playing Axie anymore. It is easy to stop because all you have to do is tell your manager that you want out. It is like any job where you give your notice days in advance. That way you can get paid on your last job and you get to move on. This is not uncommon, especially when some people have earned enough money from being a scholar to having their own Axie team. They can now afford to have their own team of Axies, so they have to stop being a scholar. This goes back to number 9, where you can't have multiple accounts logged in. So keep up being a scholar until you finally get your own team. Did our guide help you? What better way than to try it out for yourself? Always remember to find a reliable scholarship program and do your hardest to earn some good money so everybody wins. This has been the Game Mag, and for more content like this, hit the subscribe button and give us a like. Until next time.